How's it going, everyone? Mr. Roses here. Today I wanted to take some time and talk about the Spanish flu of 1918. But before I begin, I just want to say, I'm not trying to scare anyone with this video. My main goal is to educate and bring awareness to facts. As the great Confucius says, education breeds confidence, confidence breeds hope, and hope breeds peace. So I'm making this video to educate as many people as I can to the realities that we faced in the past. And I'm doing this in hopes of inspiring confidence so we can overcome this pandemic together. First off, I just want to start with some facts about the Spanish flu of 1918. The Spanish flu was a deadly flu that hit the world in 1918 and infected roughly 500 million people in total. It caused around 17 million to 50 million deaths worldwide, with 500,000 to 650,000 deaths being in America alone. The main reason for the spread of the virus was World War I. The spread started primarily with movement of the troops by trains and by boats to the different camps. Unfortunately, to maintain the spirits of the troops and the civilians at home during the war, newspapers around the world censored the reports it was getting about the flu. They made it seem not too life-threatening or serious. The only area that was allowed to accurately report the spread of the pandemic was Spain. This is why we call it the Spanish flu of 1918. Although Spain wasn't where it originated, there still is dispute about this fact. Now, I won't go into all the terrible symptoms that people are experiencing during the flu, or the poor living situations they were forced to endure. If you're interested, do a little of your own research, but I'm telling you, it was terrible. So at this point, I wanted to compare the Spanish flu of 1918 with today's COVID-19 that we are currently dealing with. First off, I wanted to start with a few similarities between the two. The Spanish flu of 1918 was also a respiratory and personal contact virus. It spread mainly through coughing and sneezing of infected people onto others. Because of this, schools and public gatherings shut down, similar to how ours have done today, including sports events and parades. People were ordered to wear masks in order to prevent the spread of the virus. Law enforcement stepped in to enforce what we call social distancing. At the time of the Spanish flu, there were also no cures. The only actions that can be taken was just prevention of the spread of the virus. So again, masks, social distancing, etc. They also had temp hospitals popping up all over the place to try and support the massive inflow of sick people. Now I want to start with some of the differences between the two. At the height of the pandemic in 1918, most deaths were because of malnutrition, overcrowded medical camps, and poor hygiene. Luckily today, we can thank many of the great companies for continuously providing food and services. We are also more equipped to build pop-up hospitals at a faster rate and ensure less overcrowdedness along with good hygiene. We also have far greater medical advancements, better precautions, and more supplies than we did in 1918. This includes disinfectants, sanitizers, respirators, and masks. Finally, we have the advantage of technology, including television, internet, and communications, to fast-track news reports, to receive direction from our leaders, and to stay in touch with family and friends who are also practicing social distancing. During times of crisis, it's always important to look back on history. We were able to reflect and to learn from it. The famous phrase, "history repeats itself," did not come out of thin air. Everything in life works in wavelengths and frequencies, ups and downs. Just as the seasons work in patterns, so does everything else in life. With this education, begin to build confidence in our ability to battle the virus. Fear weakens our immune system and makes us more vulnerable to the flu. And remember, humans are resilient and have always beaten the odds, just as we will during this pandemic. In closing, I just want to thank you all for listening. This information has eased my mind and made me more confident on a clear path to a brighter future. Hopefully this information has done the same for you as well. If you'd like more information on protocols and useful tips for overcoming this pandemic, check out my website, houseofroses.org. If you found this video useful, please share it with others and spread the knowledge. And finally, I would like to call on those in the medical field and anyone with useful information to reach out and provide knowledge on how people at home could treat themselves and care for sick family members. When you have time, send me an email with any of your thoughts and ideas, and I'll do my best to get the knowledge out there. Thanks for listening, everyone. Stay safe and take care.